Taurus, welcome to your end of May 2020 General Tarot update. It's Raina here, rainy day, and so good time to catch up on what is going on. You are going to have a new moon in Gemini, and this will be occurring in your second house, which is the house that you rule, the house of the money that you earn on May 22nd. So that could be good for, speaking of which, Page of Pentacles. I've been getting that card a lot. So I feel like messages about money may be coming more into play at the end of May, which makes sense in a way because we've had a lot of slowdowns, and with Venus now retrograde, your ruler now retrograde, that could bring things from the past back into play. And Jupiter, these are two planets that are associated with money, so that could be very good for these kinds of matters. The heart of the matter is the Knight of Wands. This card connects to Sagittarius, and the Sagittarian energy, so it's a double fire energy. It's very independent and daring. So if you're feeling this way, then you could be like, I'm going to take a chance, I'm going to take a risk, I'm not going to play it safe. Taurus is an earth sign, and it's a fixed sign. You tend to like to leap after you have made sure that everything is ready to go. You know, there's that saying, jump in a net will appear, you know, to say basically that the universe has your back. But a Taurus person, they want to make sure that that net is there. And the Knight of Wands is just not being overly cautious, being very confident, but there's a chaotic energy with the Knight of Wands because being double fire is very wild. It's not contained. So if this is an aspect of yourself, and it could be with Uranus and Taurus, you know, you have Uranus transiting your sun signs. So you may be uncharacteristically wanting freedom in your life, and this could apply, for instance, to your career or your work life, where, let's say, during the shutdown you were working from home, and now they're saying, okay, everybody, let's go back into the office, and you're like, what? You know, we were able to do this from home. I like being at home. I could see a Taurus person liking working in their sweats. And it's funny because I'm recording this, I'm Taurus rising, and I'm recording this wearing a pair of sweatpants that unfortunately I ruined with some bleach on them. But you know what? It's all good because nobody can see me, so I can just, you know, be however. And that sense of wanting to be more comfortable than, you know, necessarily presenting a certain image is certainly Taurus. Taurus is tends to be very laid back and I think there's a delightful authenticity with Taurus, being an earth sign, very down to earth, you know, to put, you know, that phrase out there. And of course, you know, if your sun is in Taurus and your rising sign is Libra, you might be much more concerned about your appearance, for sure. But anyway, the other thing too is that this may involve somebody that you are romantically interested in or currently involved with. And you may be trying to get this person to settle down. And you're like, why is this person dragging their feet? Why do they not have this desire to do what I want to do? If they are literally a fire sign, it's because fire signs tend to value freedom over all else. It doesn't mean that they can't be in relationships, that they can't be faithful. This is the sign of the womanizer. But it doesn't mean, when I say womanizer, it's really a bad thing to put it like that. It could be somebody who wants to sample the fruits of different fruits. And that meaning that they're just looking for some sort of variety in life. Variety is the spice of life, right? They want that. Really what it involves, or what it boils down to, is freedom. Not having to be obligated to be with one person for the rest of their life. You could say sowing their wild oats. Now, this may be a phase, either somebody who has just gotten divorced, or if they are a certain age, even up until maybe, if this is a man, their mid-30s, that they want to just play the field. They don't want, and maybe they haven't met the right one yet. And once they do, that will be it. But until then, they're just going to have a good time, or they're going to just keep looking. And you may be like, I'm done looking. But you have to deal with reality. You have to deal with what you're working with. You can't demand that somebody be other than they are. It doesn't work that way. In the past position, we have the Knight of Cups. Now, this is more your speed. This is somebody who comes to you in a very romantic way, with a token of their affection. And if these are two people, see, when I see knights, they're supposed to be younger men, but I find that that's very limiting. I mean, if we're doing a general reading, even limiting it to men is going to be problematic, because we're going to eliminate so many possibilities. I want to, usually the court cards I would read strictly as gender, but I've kind of gotten away from that because I like to keep these readings more open-ended. But let's go with that premise, comparing the Knight of Wands to Knight of Cups. That person is more emotionally available, I would say. And if this is the same person, they may have been come on very romantically, and now they're turning into this player. And perhaps that's because they got what they wanted. And that sounds really bad to say it, but what can I say? But it's possible that this is part of you, that you have gotten in touch with your creative side, and now you're willing to go for it. With the Knight of Wands, you're willing to go for it. And I'm thinking of Taurus is supposed to have a great singing voice. So let's say you've always wanted to be a singer, and it was kind of a pipe dream, and the universe conspired to give you downtime to be able to pick it back up again, and now you're like, I'm going for this. Well, the people that were successful, at one point they had to make that decision too. That's part of what it takes in order to make something happen, is that you have to go for it. And so whatever this is in life, if this is love, this may be something that makes you feel like the Knight of Wands, makes you feel like a kid again. The knight, the youthful young adult. You could be like 60 years old, 70 years old, and you feel like you're in your 20s. The higher message is the Page of Pentacles. This is as a higher message about, if we look at it from the mundane perspective, it could be a message about money that is coming to you for some reason, perhaps to tell you, you know, be on the lookout, you're going to get a temptation. So you're going to get a job offer right at the time when you've decided to do this. Isn't that funny how the universe works? But even in that vein, it may not be a bad thing, because if it's something that appeals to you, it may be helpful for your artistic pursuits. Also, the Page of Pentacles could be a sum of money that you receive, and that may help you to advance your goals. Sometimes the Page of Pentacles is a student, so if you're doing something that possibly could require some sort of training, for instance, then that might be the next move that you need to make in pursuing this. What crosses you is the Hierophant. This is a card of tradition, of of marriage. So let's say that you are the Knight of Wands in terms of your love life. You tend to be a traditional sign. And maybe like, oh, I never really thought about this. Let's say that you are a Taurus who is around the age of 30 or early 30s. And your family is pressuring you to get married. They say they want grandchildren. And you just are happy being single. You're happy, if you want to call it playing the field, maybe you're not even dating that much. You're getting, you're very involved in your career. That may be something that feels kind of oppressive, that other people have expectations for you. And that has to be integrated, that has to be dealt with. The other thing is with marriage, perhaps if you have been married before and somebody like the Knight of Cups has come into your life, but you are still kind of in that rebellious mode, because I think with Taurus, if you have gotten divorced and it cleaned you out financially, that might be a big one for Taurus, is that, don't mess with a Taurus's money. You can do a lot of things, but don't mess with their money, or they will, have a hard time forgetting that, and also for being willing to trust again in this kind of a way. So that might make you a lot less interested in the traditional route, and if the other person doesn't really like this idea, they may feel uncomfortable pursuing a relationship with you, because they think that it's going to be kind of tenuous, unstable, or just not something that they're looking for. That they're looking for marriage, because people who want marriage sometimes want that guarantee, which doesn't really exist. If you're honest with yourself, there are no guarantees in life. And even if you get married, it doesn't mean that you're going to stay married. So if you feel this sense of you don't want, this resistance to doing something, then by all means don't give in because another person is unhappy about it. Really probe your feelings, what's going on there, and you'll be able to decide much better. And also with an artistic career, the Hierophant may be saying music isn't something, or I'm just saying music, it could be any type of artistic self-expression. That's something you do as a hobby, but you have to get a proper job. And you have to, I always say that the artistic path is the spiritual path, because both of them are about bucking convention, doing what is not typically done. and that doesn't sit well with some people, because some people get uncomfortable when others refuse to go along with the program, because it forces them to have to question their own choices, right? What's coming in is the Ace of Swords. This can be mental clarity so that you can proceed forward, and this can come in the form of really feeling like you know what you want to do. You know, it's funny because I didn't get a card that suggested that you had a choice that you had to make, but I almost kind of got that impression. And now, you know, with the Ace of Swords, that kind of really seals the deal for me, that that might have been something, that there's something that you have to decide about, and you're kind of torn between doing what maybe friends and family are suggesting you do and following your own heart and or your own instincts, for that matter. But this is about you gaining clarity so that you can move forward. And then sure enough, 8 of Wands, all systems are go. Launching. I was going to say rockets of desire. This is a term that is used by Abraham Hicks, that meaning these things that we want to, you could call them setting your intentions, but these things that we want very much so to happen. And with the 8 of Wands, you can have things happening very quickly, you know, kind of that quick movement, and experiencing change in a very short period of time. So maybe something was holding you up that was keeping you stuck, and now you're feeling a lot more confident. Look, we have these fire cards here, and with fire, it's about confidence, and the confidence really is about knowing yourself. When you know yourself, you're not worried about the opinions of other people, and that's what true confidence is, because you're really abiding in the self. And it's interesting because water signs sometimes get accused of being self-absorbed, selfish, you know, that sense of being too wrapped up in oneself. But while there is an excessive version of that, you have to be able to tune into yourself and know who you are and what your needs are, and know that they're not going to be the same as somebody else's, that you're a unique individual. That sense of self, meaning that unique stamp that your soul is all about, is really what it means to embrace confidence and put it out there, so that you can put out that unique energy, and other people can enjoy it. So anyway, Taurus, that's what I have for you. I hope that you receive something from this, and if you would like a private reading, the link is below. Thanks for watching. Take care. Bye.